And they banned the Lulu instead, the best partner for it, but you can still play it with other things like the Rakan, and we've seen other enchanters as well be paired with it. So if you really wanted to do that and sacrifice your jungle pick, then you could go for it.
It'll be really interesting to see, you know, because I think Golden Guardians have to know that they're potentially giving that over, that it is really high prio. Stixxay was actually playing more of a different style of marksman in their previous series. It was fun seeing these flashbacks to 2016 when he's playing Tristana, and then to actually get here, he was playing Tristana, he was playing Caitlyn. These less popular marksmen, Varus is also available, so there's a lot of really power picks here.
And the thing is, though, if you pick the Zeri too early, we've seen from some of these better teams at this stage in the LCS where you had to play against it time and time again, the other teams will just answer that challenge and try to smack you in lane. It's Golden Guardians picking the Ksante for themselves in the top lane, or potentially mid if they're willing to flex it there, and the Zeri locked in for Stixxay, denying it from Prince.
I think the hardest part about not picking Zeri early is your opponents will pick the Zeri for you.
I think the Zillion hover here from Spica, maybe a little bit of a shout out to Bjergsen, who just announced his retirement.
GOAT retired. Shout outs to Bjergsen. Definitely impressive stuff for him. Most impressive career. Let's get into this though. Jayce picked up into the flex pick role here.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it is probably going to go for Vicla though.
Yeah, almost guaranteed it's going to go to Vicla. You know, he is the guy who has the Jayce game so far for FlyQuest. Not really an impact style champion, and it's actually going to be the Xayah here. Pick third for Fly. Because it is, you know, going into that next round of bans, I do expect Rakan to be banned away as that pairing. Of course, you can go for other pairings. You can go for other options. But it is one of those picks that is going to be able to absorb dive, and perhaps that's what they're expecting.
And we get River on Elise here. Once again, very early active jungler. He has been exceptional with it. The Jayce is one of the big champions that you usually want to pair with it, though. An AD mid laner there for River and Gori to really have that mid lane jungle synergy and go for some kills, because you're not going to want to pair too much with the Ksante. So definitely going to see some mid lane bans here from FlyQuest to try and whittle down on the synergies between him and River.
There is still, of course, the opportunity for Ksante to be that attack damage mid laner, but not quite the burst that you would want from something like a Jayce. Rakan, of course, that first ban for Golden Guardians in the second phase, keeping it away from Winsome, keeping the Rakan and Xayah duo separated as FlyQuest ban out the Gwen.
Well, and Golden Guardians has been down to flex pick, and we know that Gori actually does play some Ksante mid. So potentially this could actually be going mid lane. We've seen a ton of Renekton from Licorice. There is awesome, some options there for them if they want to actually look for a really strong pairing in the top lane with that Elise.
And FlyQuest feel the same way. They ban out the Gwen. Possibly looking at, Fiora picks-ups and stuff as well for the top lane matchup, but it's a double ban on supports here from Golden Guardians, Rakan, and the Nautilus. And I feel like Winsome has been best when Winsome has been on engaged champions.
Yeah.
These are really good target bans from Golden Guardians, even with this swap last minute from FlyQuest, bringing Winsome back in and changing their support position.
And it's 3 support bans from Golden Guardians, plus they can take support here on 4, so they can push them even further down the pool.
And if we're talking about pools, it's the top lane pool targeted exclusively by FlyQuest in the second half of the bans, meaning they are expecting this Ksante to be mid. They're not just looking at it as a possibility, they're looking at it as a likelihood. Golden Guardians are going to lock in the Leona to give them a big bang engage.
And I'm assuming with these two bans, it's probably going to be, like a Sion or some sort of tank topside for impact, because they ban away the Gwen and the Olaf, two of Licorice's strong counter picks that he has used to abuse those tank top lines.
FlyQuest, what's it going to be? We lock that in. We do. It's Xayah with a Braum next to her. Prince is going to be difficult to dive, difficult to burst down here for the Golden Guardians this game.
All right, is it going to be the Sion reveal? What do you have for us, Impact?
The only problem if you go Sion is that you're pretty much purely physical damage, and I do think that, Ksante is going to be really, really effective. Leona going to be really, really effective at tanking that up. Moakai, of course, could go some sort of hybrid build there if they actually want to look for some magic damage, but FlyQuest is definitely very, very focused towards physical.
And when you think about Moakai players, Spica played a lot of Moakai back when he was really overpowered, when Demonic Embrace was really overpowered. He is not afraid to build towards a little bit of AP before the tank.
There it is.
And there it is, the tank buster. The Fiora locked in top lane against Impact Sion, meaning Ksante will be piloted by Gori in mid against the Jayce of Vicla.
And I like it. Golden Guardians are sticking with the strategy that got them here to this stage. Licorice saving the final counter pick for him, getting him a carry matchup on the top side of the map. and we'll have to track River here to see about some early action.
Exactly. I mean, they talked about it on the desk. It's 88% of the time in playoffs. Licorice has had counterpick. That trend is going to continue. This is not how they played in the regular season, but this is really how they found this kind of new strength from Licorice in the top lane, going towards these counterpicks and really trying to dominate. And the question, I think, for me about this series is really, can Licorice do that against Impact? Who is...
All right, let's rock and roll. It's time for the lower bracket final between FlyQuest and Golden Guardians. Winner here secures the second spot at MSI under the new format and gets a chance to play Cloud9 tomorrow for the LCS title. Everybody expected FlyQuest to make it here to finals weekend all split long, but the Golden Guardians have been such an upset performer here in playoffs.
I think one of the biggest things that FlyQuest have to guard against is tracking this Elise and making sure that River does not get a level 3 kill. Elise is such a powerful early ganker, but really the power spike, if you get your first blood, then you can just buy Sork Shrews and you run the map. You get the move speed, you get your flat spell penetration, and Elise becomes a monster.
And that's why, you know, FlyQuest went for that 3-man early invade, get a ward there on Raptors to try to track this Elise on the early path. They know that River is a really aggressive player. He's on an especially aggressive champion, so he's going to be trying to get active very, very early on.
One thing I do want to point out here in the bottom lane, both of our AD carries running Cleanse here in the first game, both supports running Ignite, so there's a lot of kill pressure down here. If they can blow a couple summoner spells early on, hold that Ignite, get a jungler from either side involved. River now just clearing that red buff. The ward is going to see the chickens be pulled off to the side.
And the biggest thing, if you're playing a bottom lane like this that is double Ignite, double Cleanse with 2 CC supports, is to not use your Cleanse too early and not Ignite over your CC, because your Cleanse for your opponent will get rid of both the CC that stacks you as well as getting off the Ignite. So we'll have to see if they're able to hold it long enough, get some real value.
Yeah, the early push, though, going towards Golden Guardians, they're going to get level 2 first here, and are going to be pushing in. We know that Elise is clearing, you know, top to bot, so we'll see where he wants to get active. If he is going to come down and try to cover this lane since they are pushing, you can see they've slowed it down a little bit, so potentially trying to get it to crash on this next wave.
And Flowers, you alluded to this in Champion Select, but Spica was the first LCS jungler to jump on the Amumu and Moakai train,
yes,
and did such a very good job tracking enemy aggressive jungles while still keeping up his clear on this champion that is supposed to be much more about tanking frontline later for team fights and keeping vision advantage for objectives with the saplings.
And when you're up against a team that's got Leona, that's got Ksante, Isaac, you were talking about it, when it's Jayce and Xayah, your main damage threats, when Sion's also mostly AD, there's going to be a very difficult point, particularly around the mid game after they have a couple of armor items on these champions, where you're going to need some AP. But down here in the bottom lane, Huhi's in trouble and has to flash back. River was coming around from the side. They were trying to see if they could bait him into something here, I think. Golden Guardian's about to crash the wave. River missed the cocoon. He still has the repel. They want to put the aggro here on the Elise. The first blood goes over to the Golden Guardian, but FlyQuest get one back. Prince falls. It's 2-1 for the Golden Guardian.
Golden Guardians getting them both there. Huhi setting it up with that earlier engage to chunk them low. Did take the tower shot, which made it get a little bit dicey. He was lower health than he wanted to be for the dive, but they pull it off. The kills going to Stixxay and River are huge. But thankfully for FlyQuest, Prince got one back.
This is exactly what you need with this composition for Golden Guardians. They execute on it. Mid lane opportunity, Spica, that since they saw Elise down bottom side, he's looking mid, but Huhi's already off on the support recall from the successful bottom lane play because they pulled it off so quickly. And those Sork shoes that I mentioned for Elise, the big win off of bottom side, him getting one of those kills is so big. Going to be able to have a really, really quick impact now. You can just go Krug clear into Raptor clear and threaten more lanes.
And here's that initial engage where I got a little bit nervous for Huhi. They weren't quite able to proc that Braum passive, just needed one more auto. That's why he flashes out.
Right.
And went a little bit farther with his Zenith Blade, took the tower shot, and then they look for the redive. Huhi knows this is going to be a one-way trip for him. River initially does become the one to actually take aggro, then resets it with the repel. It goes on to Huhi. He's always going to go down, but River's able to flash out after that final tower shot hits him to survive.
Nicely done from Golden Guardians to get that early bot lane momentum flowing. Now the wave is pushing back to them. Stixxay will be able to farm this up. We don't have any major CS discrepancies across the map. The biggest one is in the jungle where Spica's up a couple of camps because River took the time to go bottom to make that 2-for-1 dive happen. You can see in the inventory of Spica the Giant's Belt. I am assuming this will be the demonic rush that we were talking about so that they can have a little bit of extra AP damage, have extra control around the neutral objectives as well.
After a bottom side dive like that, though, your wave is always going to push back towards you. So FlyQuest do a really good job using the bouncing wave here. They push out with their bottom lane to allow Spica to come in, play around the bottom lane, grab the bottom scuttle crab.
Oh, Impact to zoom.
Impact trying to get away there. He had to flash ulti to guarantee that he cleared the distance.
I actually love the presence of mind there, though. He would have died if he didn't actually fight for that last minion to get 6. He was level 5, and Licorice was looking for the all-in on this Sion. So he walks into Licorice, which looks counterintuitive, to hit 6, flash out, ult away, knowing that Licorice is playing Ghost, not Flash, so he can't actually flash in front of that ulti. So heads up stuff there from Impact.
Now it's going to be dangerous, though, because he just used everything. That was ult and flash, and River going to be attracted up to the top side. His wave is in a really bad spot for him, pushing super far out.
Licorice isn't 6, though. They need to wait for his 6. I don't know how many minions away.
Well, they might just go in without it anyway. Licorice and River looking for Impact, and I don't think they'll need to look very long. They step out of the way of the decimating smash. Impact's just going to farm every minion he can on the way out. He knows he won't get anybody back with this dead form. And FlyQuest lose another kill over to Golden Guardians, but with the jungler on the top side, FlyQuest are making the call to go for the Drake.
Yeah, that's the problem with that play is the wave state is more dangerous than actually the summer spell expenditure, but because you see enemy jungle on top side, you are going to get an objective for the death of Sion here for Impact, and now the wave does crash for him.
And I will say, I'm pretty surprised that River didn't just donate that over to Licorice, because Impact was dead to rights. There was no way he was actually getting out of that situation with no ult, no sums. The fact that Elise does take this hurts the Fiora a little bit. You know, it's not going to be helping us much in that 1v1. So it is a bit more pressure there on River to keep this momentum up. You know, he already got the early Sork boots. Now he's got the Hextech alternator. So is spiking and going to have to keep that pressure up.
So the reason I actually do like it is because River has an easier time transferring that advantage down to bottom lane. And that's what you really want for your win con for this game. I totally agree. Investing in a Fiora scaling for later is
jungler
good.
over here.
But
like, kills, they're for me.
Yeah, I want to use that advantage. I want to take it bottom lane. Everybody knows where their meals are really made.
So is this the angel or the devil on your shoulder, Kobe? Because you did take the kill, but you're giving me an excuse about how it's for the team. So I can't quite tell which,
exactly.
which personality
I'm taking the kill, but it's for a good cause.
Yeah,
I swear.
exactly.
Come on, guys.
He's donating the money to the bot lane
For
charity.
Mr. President down on the bot lane. It's for Zeri.
Well, Golden Guardians are loving the state of the early game so far. 1,500 gold lead. They lost out on that first Drake, but the first one's usually not that big of a deal. I want to see if they can keep this momentum going. Down here in bottom lane, the summoner spells are all back up for everybody. Gori goes all out on Vicla, knocking him over the wall here, looking for a little bit of an additional damage, but can't find it. As Spica's going to be the first to reinforce, but River shows up on the other side, and that means nothing more goes down.
And that means, you know, 3 pushing lanes here for Golden Guardians, so you can get the Rift Herald. If FlyQuest try and do anything about it, they're going to lose something in one of their lanes because of the aggressive pushes here. But now, they are making that move over. Spica brute forces it.
Vicla's got control over mid. Gori's just left with clearing the wave duty.
Both bot
Huhi,
laners are coming.
Stixxay, Winsome, and Prince. All 4 bot lane players have rotated up to the top side River. But River is on the wrong side of Summoner's Rift. He might just be caught here. Now he's going to get away as FlyQuest turns their attention over to the Spider. Huhi's ready to go. Vicla down to 300 HP. He might just die here at the very start. He holds on a second longer, but Stixxay guns him down. FlyQuest trying to fight back, but Prince is the victim of regicide, and it's a triple kill over to Stixxay. Spica wants to get out, but Licorice has some lumberjack duty on his mind. Stixxay wants to put a couple more shots at him. He's unstoppable. Impact with a massive shutdown on the enemy AD carry to save something out of the fight. But Golden Guardians are shining bright here in Game 1.
Golden Guardians are cleaning up in North Carolina already. River picks up the Rift Herald afterwards. Gori's able to push in the wave, and that's why the spotlight on that 1v1 initially with Vicla, we're talking about him just softening up Vicla, gets him down to 50%, and River into the fog of war, gets another chunk onto the Jayce. So they focus Vicla over and over. Huhi goes with the Zenith Blade into the stun. They chase him up towards the top side. They get the massive kill there, and then they're able to move in for the rest of the team fight.
Yeah, Stixxay, has that ulti pop, is able to just try to chase him down here. He was feeling the penta. That's why he's flashing in after Spica. He doesn't want that Quadra to get away. Spica's retreating to the tower. He knows, I got to go in and try to take this down. Does get that kill, but Impact Q is charging up, and he is going to grab the shutdown for himself. Still, if that shutdown had to go to anyone, you'd like it to be on that Sion, not on someone like Prince or Vicla.
And you can even put more money into your Zeri now because you pick up the Eye of the Rift Herald, and River goes right back down to that bottom side.
I mean, you compare the itemization now for these bot laners. Prince is really far behind. You crash this Herald here for him, grab him a couple of plates. He's already have Shield Bow plus the tier 2 boots. Prince is so far away from his mythic completion that it's going to be this clear point of power Golden Guardians can just play around all game long.
And it's a Zeri, man. It's not like this is ever going to get better once she gets off to a start like this. 5-1-1 here for Stixxay. Huhi next to him on this Leona. I always love a pick like this because it lets you decide when these fights are going to happen, lets you lead the way. Golden Guardians continuing to do so. 2,500 lead, less than 45 seconds till the Drake spawns. Remember, it was the Golden Guardians play on top side that opened up the bottom part of the map for FlyQuest to take the first one.
And I want to point out again what Huhi does, because you mentioned his Leona, and he's an in-game shot caller for the team. He also sends every support recall timer here for him. He has come down through mid lane to be able to make the play with the rest of his squad. Comes down once again, and all of these wards here for Golden Guardians being cleaned out by FlyQuest, trying to push in towards the dragon spawn.
Yeah, the dragon spawning here in 5 seconds, so it's a clear setup for it. Stixxay is pushing out bot, and River's there on the coverage.
Oh, Prince immediately loses his ultimate, but now how is River going to get away from this? They immediately shut him down and blow him up. Huhi's not able to take Prince out in time. Stixxay's going to be crushed now as well. Golden Guardians overplay their hand, and FlyQuest breaks their finger.
The Brawl Moakai completely shut that down. It looked like Prince was just going to be toast, but Zeri cannot get through him. They proc the passive stun there, interrupting him from going over the wall, so Stixxay goes down as well, and they're going to grab the second dragon here. FlyQuest fighting back.
And that's simply a case of strength in numbers. Even though Golden Guardians had the setup and River's got a good angle, because FlyQuest grouped up as 4, they have those peeling tools for Prince. They're able to get the turnaround. They get the better of it. They get the objective. Does cost them a little bit, though. Gori going to be able to push in.
2 Drakes to FlyQuest, shrinking that gold lead down a little bit. Up in the top side, we talked about Impact being the great neutralizer. This guy just being able to play any matchup without needing a ton of help. He's currently sitting in a wave and a half farm lead over the Fiora that was picked as a counter to him. And across the map, it looked bad for Prince, like you guys were saying.
Yeah, I mean, Prince just got absolutely chunked out there by River. The repel to try to go in, but then Moakai is there, Braum is there. Look at Winsome shutting the door on Stixxay, and the Braum passive proc there as Stixxay was going over the wall. Because he was closer to that side of the wall in the River than the other, he gets snapped back right into his enemies and goes down.
Yep, breaking all those autos on the shield here for Braum, blocking all the damage. Really good peeling job by FlyQuest, and that's what this comp wants to do. A little bit of a preview of how they're going to try and execute in their team fights towards the later stages of the game. And since they got the early dragon stacking, that setup will be there.
Yeah.
The Demonic Embrace Moakai, because they have no other real big sources of magic damage, and even though sapling damage was nerfed, it still gives you that extra little bit of burn, and they're going to be able to set up and try and protect Prince.
And you have to say, Ocean Soul really strong on both sides. On one hand, if FlyQuest is able to get it, Impact is going to become this absolute brick wall you cannot get through. And on the other, that's going to allow you to actually shrug off so much of Jayce's poke and allow the Fiora to really not be threatened by any damage that Impact can do. So this is going to be a massive soul for both teams. You have to expect Golden Guardians to want to show up, to try to use their 2K gold lead here to claim that third dragon.
Well, we don't have that dragon spawning for another 3 minutes or so. Rift Herald also not back on the Rift anytime soon. Right now, there was a bit of an advantage for Impact, who had completed his Sunfire Aegis, but Licorice just now purchasing the Divine Sunderer. He's going to go back to feeling good in this 1v1 again, as Spica and Winsome are trying to sit down some vision, sweep out a little bit of whatever they might be able to find. Vicla pushing up towards the top lane, tier 1. River wants to find him. Hextech Rocket Belt was completed. Cocoon fires into the brush, but doesn't quite hit the target, so Vicla gets away.
And I like this move for an early setup for FlyQuest. Rift Herald is coming onto the map, so you see the River is fully controlled by them. They trail with their duo lane, bringing everybody up to allow Vicla to continue the push here. They can push out top, they can push out mid, set up those saplings, make every brush so annoying to walk through.
And on the other side, you can see it's to set up this line of vision here, for Golden Guardians to try to keep Licorice safe, to try to give him the ability to push up, potentially threatening this 1v1. Now that he has Sunderer, you can actually start to hurt the Sion a little bit. Impact did, of course, get that 700 gold shutdown, which just kind of put him ahead of the curve, but you really do need that Mythic online before you can threaten this tank.
Golden Guardians and FlyQuest squaring off in what may have been a 3v3, but Golden Guardians see what's waiting in that pixel rush before they get completely jumped on. Cocoon fires off, but again, doesn't hit a target. Prince with the Gale Force completed, Immortal Shield Bow on Stixxay, so more tankiness for Stixxay, more playmaking opportunity, outplay potential for Prince on that Xayah. Golden Guardians bringing Gori down here into the topside river as well. Vicla on the toppest part of that river, going back up into topside, looking to push that wave into the tier 1 turret. The second Herald is spawned, and the teams are fighting for position over this.
And FlyQuest's goal right now is to get little bits of chip damage, Jayce poke, Moakai saplings, soften up Golden Guardians before the full commitment.
And it's worth noting, because it is Ocean Rift, it's even easier to get those empowered saplings. It's so annoying playing against a Moakai here, and Gori now finds Vicla out. He's going to go all out.
He's all out, and Vicla's forced to flash over the wall to stay alive. Now, Gori's got to make sure he can take the blast cone back to safety, so FlyQuest can't form a pincer attack. Impact finds his way straight into the wall as River goes up into the air. Huhi's going to be killed first. Prince gets the money, and FlyQuest gets the angle. Stixxay gets back for now. Licorice is still in the bottom lane, but FlyQuest win the fight with a single kill, and they've got control over the river.
Yep, they should be able to clean up the Rift Trail number 2. Mid lane's going to get pushed by Prince. Dragon spawning while Licorice is pushing on the bottom wave. So they're going to be able to contract over to the Dragon. River not quite giving it up yet. He does technically have his flash, but it would be very crazy to go for that.
Yeah, and Impact, just that TP towards topside makes all the difference. As Licorice wanted to stay bot, wanted to push for the tower. He does get it. But because Impact gets that first initial kill, says, all right, we've won the fight, immediately based, heads back down to bot. He's covering that tier 2, so it is just a trade of that tier 1 bot for the kill they got on top and the Herald. So I think it's still beneficial for FlyQuest.
Here's the reset for this Dragon spawn in 19 seconds.
This is an important one, with both Drakes so far in the possession of FlyQuest. Securing this puts them on soul point for the rest of the game. It creates a never-ending looming threat above the head of Golden Guardians that they then cannot let any more of these go for the rest of the match.
Good toggle here by observers. You can see the difference in this team fight. Golden Guardians with the Fog of War advantage. Can't set up all those saplings ahead of time there for FlyQuest, and so they're going to move off of their mid-wave push while the Dragon's already down to 3K.
Impact positioning himself in the pit to guarantee they always have vision over the objective and exactly how much HP it's going to have left. Around the side they go. Gori's into the middle of 3 as Prince is going to be targeted. Gori goes all out and Prince has to flash over the wall trying to stay alive. River destroys them and Stixxay is going to be traded back. It's 4v4 with neither AD carry still left standing and a double kill over to Vicla. FlyQuest win another fight.
This is going to be Dragon soul point number 3 for FlyQuest, but they go back in.
Golden Guardians are not done. Huhi's the target. He's here on the front. They stick around. They claim the Drake. FlyQuest are still fighting this out. Vicla's low, but Licorice has already used riposte. Gori with a flashback over the wall. Golden Guardians stuck around too long. They give away 3 kills on top of losing the objective, and their entire lead is gone.
I mean, Golden Guardians going back in there, they had no damage to actually take down these beefy members. It's just the Fiora with no ultimate available. There's no shot they were going to be able to burst them down. And yes, they chase down Prince and they get the kill, but you have to track Stixxay in this fight. Stixxay is somewhat abandoned by his team as everyone goes all in for Prince.
And look how it happens here. So they dive in onto Prince, the Xayah ult. Huhi then flashes back out away from the feathers. The Moakai ult catches everybody else. And Stixxay's trying to follow up on them, but the Sion finds him, and he's right next to Vicla. So both AD carries down, and the Dragon auto attacks slowing down River. Very annoying, can't get the spider out. This here, though, is a bit of a Golden Guardians golden throw. They don't have that damage. Licorice is the damage, and look at him, he's Fiora. Hasn't even gotten a single auto off yet. It was 2 tanks re-engaging there. Even though Moakai was still tanking the Dragon, I don't think that's ever a good look for the Golden Guardians. It felt like a moment of frustration for them where they really did not want to give away Dragon number 3 and set up this soul point situation for themselves, because now they look at it and it just seems so incredibly difficult.
Vicla topping the damage charts in that last fight here on his Jayce. 5, 1, and 2, playing a huge role in this game. But even more so, I've got to credit Impact. He's getting where he needs to go every single time, whether it's first to the Rift Herald fight, whether it's finding the Zeri in the chaos of a team fight. Impact is again showing how good he has been for so long.
And this is why, even with counter pick available, they pick Sion for him. They pick Impact. This is how Impact has made so many LCS highlights, is being that front line. He's going to have a bigger impact than a Fiora in a team fight.
Yeah.
It was very apparent there.
And it's so problematic when you're trying to play these split push win conditions if you can't take any of the early dragons, because it forces you to come and take these 5v5s that the other team has built their comp for. You know, they have no more gold lead. They're actually down in gold now at this point, and they're going to be forced to 5v5 here in what is going to be a very difficult fight for them to win. There's no ability for them to just play side lanes and go for the split push shenanigans, try to rush down towers. If you give over Ocean Soul, Impact's going to shrug off everything you're doing.
And I think if we take a moment to pull back and look at this series as a whole, this is a very, very important one for FlyQuest to have Vicla showing up as a massive carry threat alongside Prince. So much during the regular season, everybody was focused on Prince. And that's exactly what happened in the last team fight. All resources used towards Prince, but Vicla was able to carry.
Spica has to flash over the wall there as Huhi went in, seeing if maybe Golden Guardians could force a pick on the enemy jungler. There might be opportunities to set up for a bear and lure them in or something else after that, but Spica with the flash away guarantees his own safety. Vicla is going to walk up into the brush, find Gori, but Gori is the one who found him with Licorice right beside him. They shut him down before the rest of FlyQuest is able to arrive. Now can Gori and Licorice fight their way out? Impact has come to reinforce
Prince isn't here, there's no tower.
Prince is nowhere nearby. Spica already fired off the ulti. River, cocoon over the wall, sets up Licorice for a little bit more damage. Now the Spider Bite's ready to follow through, but a decimating smash stops the chase. FlyQuest get away, but they lose their mid lane.
Super smart trailing little play here from Licorice. He just starts his recall in the side lane brush, just waiting for an opportunity, and Golden Guardians recognizing, yeah, Vicla carried the last fight. Now they pull off a side lane little pick on him. That's some nice gold. It doesn't completely change the face of the game, but definitely a good shutdown to collect for themselves.
Yeah, good kill that they're able to pick up. It's second item now done here for Licorice, but Golden Guardians was really wanting more. Prince was staying mid lane during that whole time, you know, just collecting gold, pushing up on those towers. You know, he's getting a lot off of that. He's already on his 2 items and actually, you know, pretty much caught up with where Stixxay is at this point after Stixxay had an enormous lead early on.
So not only did they get the kill onto Vicla there in the bottom lane, let's not forget that they also got Spica's flash beforehand. They got Impact's teleport coming down to reinforce the play, and they got Winsome's flash as well. So Golden Guardians are going to have to take advantage of that summoner spell edge if they want to try to stop this Drake Soul in 30 seconds.
It's hard though, man. I mean, it's already FlyQuest with that setup here around the dragon, and you're gonna have to face check through all these Moakai saplings on this Ocean Rift here, and then try to get through the brick wall that is Impact.
Look at this super deep ward they have available for Golden Guardians too. That technically could be a flank ward. They really want to pull something off. Gori right now is split pushing on the Ksante, as you can see, trying to get up to topside tower.
Well, he's going to have to join up here with the team pretty soon. That Ksante is very important for being able to face check into this FlyQuest setup. Gori's still up in the top lane for now, has the Unleashed teleport. There he is teleporting to that potential flanking ward, but the Drake is dropping fast. It's already at 3k HP. This play was so delayed. Gori with the flash over the wall to interrupt Impact. The Ocean Soul goes to FlyQuest, but what about the fight after? Golden Guardians have to try to get more than this. They just gave away Soul through a kill on the enemy Sion. FlyQuest walking up all the way through the topside river.
Yeah, FlyQuest knows the only counterplay here for Golden Guardians is to try to flip Baron. So they're trying to actually camp in this brush and look for a pick themselves.
Trying to buy a little bit of time to poke around and let Licorice split push. That is the main hope for Golden Guardians, if they can get something going with this Fiora. Now they know, yeah, we're completely outmatched in these 5v5s. We have to make use of the only strength that we have still as an advantage, and Licorice gets half of a tower.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, but honestly, Fiora against a Sion with Ocean Soul, I don't think you're killing this guy. It's going to become so difficult for him to get any purchase in that side lane, because it is supposed to hit this point where you hit multiple items, you're doing so much true damage, you can whittle down that Sion, maybe not 100 to 0, but get him low enough that you can threaten that. Yeah. With Ocean Soul, that just never happens.
No, it's Pretty rough going here for the Golden Guardians. At this point in the game, their early game lead looked so good.
Yeah.
But FlyQuest outmaneuvering them at a couple of different critical fights, being able to find the angles they needed. Impact getting in there in the Rift Herald fight, Impact finding Stixxay in the great AD carry trade, and then the team-wide blunder of going back in bottom lane really feel like the most impactful moments for Golden Guardians losing that lead. But now FlyQuest have decided they're going to start up the Baron. They're doing this slowly. They're not just trying to burn it down. They want the Golden Guardians to come and answer. They want to be able to turn on them. Vicla rotating up through mid lane as Gori's going to look to do the same. Stixxay gets tagged, jumps over the wall. He's going to get focused down. Stixxay, he thought he was just baiting him, but he's going to get run over. FlyQuest have punished Golden Guardians, who have completely lost control over the game. Now they're going to lose their support. It's both bottom laners down. Licorice tears away at the tier 2 in the bottom side, but it's not going to matter when FlyQuest are looking for Baron.
Yep, that should be Baron for them. Even though they lose the secondary tower, super worth it for FlyQuest. Now with the Baron, they can push in on Golden Guardian's base. River here is still threatening for a steal though, so Vicla tries to keep him out.
Vicla going in, wants to just burst down this Elise. River has a flash, but he's not going anywhere with it. Now Gori has to just try to get away. FlyQuest are in a commanding lead at this point.
Just really well played here by FlyQuest. As soon as you got Ocean Soul, there's no danger to starting up those Baron with the tanks. You're going to stay full health this whole time. So they're slowly whittling away at it, but they're looking for the turn. This Q tag from Winsome there nails Stixxay and then knocks him up out of his dash with his own ultimate. They hit the blast plant over the wall to actually knock him back into the team. Beautifully played there from the sub support.
Yeah, Winsome coming in, just the tip of that Braum ultimate, catching Stixxay as he's trying to flip back over the wall, getting the kill onto the Golden Guardians carry, and now with that Baron buff, FlyQuest going to do some real damage.
Licorice having to immediately retreat from this bottom lane tier 1. FlyQuest looking to take a lot of standing gold here. They are massively far ahead, but not a ton of it is just in direct gold advantage. A lot of it is in the Drake soul, the Drakes themselves that they farmed up, the Baron that they currently possess. But there's so many of these turrets left for them to take, that gold lead itself could be north of 5,000 by the time this Baron wears away.
And there is good playmaking on the Golden Guardians side, but the difficulty is, who do you even target? Really, you only have Vicla as an option. You'd want to go for Prince, but it's Azael with ultimate and cleanse and flash, everything available.
Yeah.
The other three guys, you can't really go for the Moakai, Braum, Sion. They're all too tanky. So it only leaves you with Vicla as an option, who has a stopwatch in inventory and this whole team of bodyguards.
Yeah, at this point, FlyQuest have way too much disengage. Really smart defensive picks in Moakai, Braum for them. And then since Vicla has been able to carry, very, very rich poke damage is going to come down through this Jayce. And Golden Guardian's going to have to make a really, really low, low chance of success play, but they're going to have to go for it anyways. You have to throw those Hail Marys when you're in a desperate situation.
I mean, a 5% chance is better than what they're looking at right now if they play this out slow. So they're going to have to try to look for something, as you say, but incredibly difficult to pull it off. At the very least, Stixxay does have 3 items here, and they do have this Fiora trying to play sides, but Huhi has been caught out.
Man, there's no way out of that one for Huhi. It's just more money in Vicla's pocket. Another kill for the mid laner of FlyQuest. Gori, Stixxay, and River working together to just beat through this massive wall of health that is Impact. They will take him down, so they at least get something back. But as the Baron won't have a whole lot of usability left on it, only 30 seconds to go, and they're down a man for the next 45. This is going to settle out around a 4,000 gold lead after the Baron's done.
And they're just going to start playing for Elder, right? This is the next objective here on the map. It's 1 minute until that Elder spawns, so go back to base, start picking up those pinks, start setting up that line of vision around the Elder, which FlyQuest can then use to potentially push in and try to end this game.
7-2 for the Jayce of Vicla. The dude has been putting in so much work in this game. 1-1-6 for Spica's Moakai. Even if it's not as strong as it used to be, he's still having awesome games on it. Their control over the objectives, their setup, making sure they can burn these things down, the calls around things like burning down the Drake quickly for the soul, taking the Baron nice and slow. The communication on FlyQuest seems crisp right now.
Yeah, that's why I want to give so much praise to Vicla so far for this series, because in FlyQuest series versus Cloud9, he was a liability. And he has completely turned it around, being a major threat in this one.
Yeah, the two people that people talked about were Vicla and Ayla. You know, Winsome, I think, subbing in, playing really well on the Braum so far. It's not exactly the flashiest of champions, but he is really, I think, making an impact in a lot of these fights, making Stixxay's life so difficult to actually try to get damage onto these carries that he needs to. It's just not been possible with Winsome blocking the way at every turn.
All right, Golden Guardian's got to hope that Stixxay's got a cannonball arm and can throw the ball all the way down the field. This is kind of put up or shut up time, and FlyQuest is ready to fight him. Now you got the teleport coming in on the back, but the Golden Guardians are already taking a whole lot of damage. Gori's going to be bursted down before anything else happens, and Spica takes the kill. Golden Guardians running for the hills as Prince chases them down. A double kill over to Xayah as everybody in Golden Guardians colors collapses. They don't even need the Elder. FlyQuest are going for the edge.
Yeah, they're going to look to push it down mid here. Licorice, though, trying to find Prince.
He looks for him. He issues the grand challenge. Prince gets away. He's stunned up. Winsome on protection duty, but he failed. The VIP is down, and Licorice will buy as much time as he can. He's got to deal with two tanks. Fiora should win these. It's just going to take about 4 years. Okay, Impact and Vicla are coming back down now. They realize this is a problem. Honestly, Licorice just stopped the game from ending.
Yeah, he saved the game from ending there, giving them another chance here, at least one more fight. Great parry. How much time can he buy?
Licorice is just taking them all on an incredible journey through some of This is a Trick 2G video. What's going on here?
Run, young man, run!
Get out of there, Licorice. Oh, nope, he's just going to go for the healing on the vitals. Oh, he finally gets taken down. But an incredible fight from Licorice on the back end of that one.
Yeah, valiantly fought there. He's going to be able to save the game for now. The rest of the Golden Guardians have arrived, and they're starting up the Elder.
Here we go. Golden Guardians, they're saying we got to do it, even though it's a 4v5. They know their only chances here. You give away Elder, the game is going to go. Spica fires off the ulti. River is locked down. The Drake's at 5,000. Gori dies first. Impact takes the kill as Huhi's at 300. Now the focus turned right back onto Stixxay with Zeri out of the picture. It's a FlyQuest Elder.
Yeah, they had to try to rush it because Prince was respawning. He was walking out of base, so they briefly had that 4v4 chance here. But FlyQuest win in the 4v4. River will fall. They will claim the Elder, and look at Prince. He's running down mid here, trying to push this up. FlyQuest are going to have everything they need to close out game number one.
It'll be Huhi and Licorice alive trying to fight them, but you're in a 2v5 against a team with a 10,000 gold lead and an Elder Drake. It is essentially impossible, but Golden Guardians, they're looking at probably the last couple seconds here of game number one. FlyQuest, they've got the wave from mid lane. They're going to put the damage into the first Nexus turret. Huhi goes in, Huhi goes out. Golden Guardians, they had a real nice early game, but FlyQuest team fighting proves superior. FlyQuest shot calling proves superior. FlyQuest trying to end this game, but Licorice just killed Prince. FlyQuest still needs to win the fight if they want to find the victory, and the Elder Dragon's gonna do it just fine for him. Gori absolutely obliterated as River tries to scurry away, and FlyQuest wants to pad those stats. A double kill to Winsome, and FlyQuest take game one.
Big opening game for FlyQuest here. Vicla on the Jayce steps up huge. They keep really focused on their win cons. Dragon, forcing these objectives, forcing Golden Guardians to come to them, and forcing a game